world thinks it knows Sabrina Carpenter. They see the blonde hair, the platform boots, and the effortless, sarcastic charm of a girl who just conquered the global charts with a song about caffeine and confidence. But the espresso you're drinking has been brewing for a long, cold, and often desperate decade. To understand Sabrina, you have to understand that for 10 years, she was a ghost in the Hollywood machine. In 2014, she was just another face on the Disney Channel production line. Cast as the edgy, rebellious best friend in Girl Meets World, she was fed into the same industrial complex that produced Miley Cyrus, Demi Lovato, and Selena Gomez. But while those stars exploded into the stratosphere, Sabrina simmered. She released album after album, 4 of them in fact, that the cultural consciousness largely ignored. She was a pop star in waiting, trapped in a Disney contract that demanded she be safe, marketable, and clean. She was doing the work, playing the shows, and wearing the glitter, but the soul of a star was missing because the machine didn't know how to sell her. She was stuck in a golden cage, watching her peers fly past her. She wasn't the it girl. She wasn't the voice of a generation. She was the other girl, the backup plan. For years, Sabrina was the talented blonde who was always there, but never quite arrived. That is, until 2021, when a private heartbreak involving another Disney star became the public fuel for the most aggressive and calculated rebrand in modern pop history. This is where the story turns dark. When Olivia Rodrigo released Driver's License, she didn't just release a record-breaking song, she released a target. The lyrics pointed directly at that blonde girl who was so much older than me. Suddenly, Sabrina Carpenter wasn't a ghost anymore. She was a villain. Millions of teenagers descended on her social media, accusing her of being a homewrecker and a symbol of everything wrong with the industry. Most people would have crumbled under that weight. But Sabrina, she and her team saw an opening. They made a cold corporate decision. They decided to lean into the drama. She released Skin. The song was a direct, sharp, and highly controversial response that fueled the fire instead of putting it out. Critics called it opportunistic. They accused her of using Olivia's massive trauma to finally get a hit of her own. And they were right. It worked. Skin became her first song to ever hit the Billboard Hot 100. She learned a dark, essential lesson that year. In the attention economy, hate is just as profitable as love. She stopped trying to be the good girl and started becoming the mastermind. The Sabrina Carpenter we see now, the hyper-feminine coquette doll with the perfectly scripted jokes, is not an accident. It is a carefully constructed armor designed for the TikTok era. After the Olivia Rodrigo scandal, Sabrina didn't just change her music, she changed her entire frequency. She realized that to survive, she had to become a meme machine. Every nonsense outro where she changes the lyrics to a dirty joke about the city she's in is engineered to be clipped, shared, and turned into a viral moment. Every sarcastic comment on stage is a calculated bit of relatable content. She swapped the Disney grit for a soft, pastel aesthetic that acts as a shield. It's an image that is soft to the touch, but sharp at the edges. She turned her concerts into a comedy show specifically designed for the algorithm's shortest attention spans. She isn't just singing to you, she is optimizing you. But behind the short and sweet persona lies the reality of extreme corporate endurance. She outlasted the Disney curse by becoming the ultimate capitalist. She watched how the industry chewed up her predecessors, and she decided to become the one who bites back. She didn't defeat the machine, she mastered its internal code. She used a public scandal to build her throne, and she used 10 years of underdog status to make you feel like her current monopoly is a victory for the little guy. The Espresso isn't just a catchy pop song. It's a victory lap for a woman who spent a decade in the shadows and finally figured out how to turn the lights on. She is the billionaire's new favorite product, the algorithm's perfect daughter, and the girl who proved that if you wait long enough and play the villain just right, the world will eventually call you a hero. The truth about Sabrina Carpenter is that there is nothing sudden about her success. It was a long, cold, and calculated climb. She didn't find her voice, she found a strategy that worked. And now that she's at the top, she's making sure you're exactly where she wants you, watching, listening, and buying into the illusion. Thanks for watching Dark, Unpopular Story. The biggest stars always have the longest shadows. If you want to see the real machinery behind the music, subscribe. Because once the glitter settles, the truth is the only thing that remains. The transition from a fading Disney star to a global pop icon required more than just a scandal. It required a complete forensic erasure of her past. In 2021, Sabrina signed with Island Records, and the strategic pivot began. This wasn't just a change of management, it was a masterclass in brand cleaning. Notice how the Disney sound, those generic, overproduced pop rock anthems, disappeared overnight. They were replaced by a carefully curated vintage aesthetic. Why? Because nostalgia is a weapon. By styling herself like a 1960s French starlet mixed with a 90s doll, Sabrina's team disconnected her from the child star stigma. They made her feel classic, even though she was a product of the most modern corporate machinery. The Sabrina we see now, the hyper-feminine coquette doll, is not an accident. It is a shield. It's an image that is soft to the touch, but sharp at the edges. She turned her concerts into a comedy show specifically designed for the algorithm's shortest attention spans. She pioneered the nonsense outro, the recurring viral segment where she improvised dirty jokes at the end of her songs. It was a genius move. Every single night of her tour, she created a new exclusive piece of content for TikTok. But behind the pink silk and the sparkling nails lies a business strategy as sharp as a razor. She began to use her vulnerability as a product. Every leak of information, every candid interview, followed a specific pattern designed to dominate the conversation exactly when her competitors were releasing music. She didn't defeat capitalism, she simply mastered its internal code. She outlasted the industry by becoming its most efficient operator. By the time Espresso became the song of the summer, the transformation was complete. The other girl was gone. In her place stood a billionaire-backed titan of industry. Sabrina Carpenter isn't just a singer anymore, she's a cultural monopoly. She is the face of fashion brands, the voice of the radio, and the queen of the social media feed. But what did it cost? To reach this height, she had to erase a decade of her own history. She had to step over the wreckage of a public scandal that traumatized everyone involved. She had to become a master of capitalist pop, a genre where the quality of the art is secondary to the efficiency of the branding. Is she the overnight success the media claims she is? Absolutely not. She is the result of 10 years of cold, calculated patience. She is the star who realized that the short and sweet version of the truth is much easier to sell than the long, dark reality of her rise. She isn't just a pop star, she's a blueprint for surviving Hollywood if you're willing to wait in the shadows with a knife behind your back.